Hey, perfect spirit. Thanks for watching. I haven't gone live in a few weeks. I think it's been where I'm just solo, not doing soul messages here. So I had COVID at the beginning of the month. I've had all these health challenges throughout my life. And, healing is essentially the same. That's really what I want to talk about today, that all healing is essentially the same. We simply need to get the mind out of the way and come into this place of peace, of relaxation, because when we're worried, stress, all this anxiety, it keeps things in place. It gives it the fuel. So I think I got some people here watching. Hey, Rebecca, good to see you here. So that's what I want to talk about today. That if you're sick, what could be stressed out, anxiety, whatever it may be, that all healing is essentially the same. And the mind will protest about this because the mind loves complexity. That I have to go see these doctors, have to take this medicine, or if you're in the alternate path, I have to go see this kind of healer. I have to do this and this and that. And it's just simply too much. It's just about relaxing. And if you can't relax, then I invite you to come to the Arc of the Golden Light. That's where I do my healing work and I really clear out that garbage, the head trash. So this event, I'll just talk about this briefly. This event on next Wednesday, this Wednesday coming up, is just really about, coming into unity, getting that mind offline and, restoring the energetic body, I guess you could say. But I simply just haven't been live for a while. So when I was dealing with the COVID, it felt like I had a really bad cold, flu, but it was only like that for a few days. So it wasn't so bad. But I think probably one of the worst things I dealt with, besides being hit by a van at age 6, was multiple sclerosis. With that, I had the worst migraine of my life. My whole left side of the body was numb. I couldn't walk. I was a real mess for months upon months where I couldn't even walk, get out of bed, all that kind of stuff that we take for granted. So it was my life dealing with, all these disease, disability, and it's poof, it's gone. Yeah, I had COVID, Rebecca, but it's gone. It didn't last that long. Same cold exhaustion. Yeah, it just really tires you out, just drains the body, just uses up that energy. But if we just can relax, the COVID can move through. But we get into this place of being stressed about it, anxious about it, worried about it. It keeps it stuck as opposed to letting it flow through. And I see Dowie has just joined in here, so welcome. So if there's any questions I can answer for you, let me know. I'm just going to ramble, have this free flowing conversation about healing. That it's actually very simple. And I shared this earlier on my Facebook, the way I healed was basically a 5-minute daily practice, but I was never focused on healing. That's the key. For many, healing is head trash. That word healing is head trash, meaning that the mind has all these stories about healing that it becomes a block to healing. Have to go do this, need to go do this, need to go over here, do this. And all this business, all this chasing blocks healing. So the way to heal and the way I did it was, what they always talk about, but I was never had a spiritual teacher. So what it really is coming into the present moment. Most people don't realize what the present moment is. It's a concept, but they really don't experience it. Like if you're watching this right now, do you realize you're sitting? Where are your feet? Where are your hands? Do you hear my voice? That's engaging this moment. Usually we're caught up in thoughts. So my 5-minute daily practice was, there goes the mind thinking again, but I wasn't judging it, wasn't criticizing it, just noticing mind thinking. So then we come back like, okay, where are my feet? Where are my hands? Where am I sitting? That was my practice for 5 minutes a day, just engaging my sensations. And I didn't even know what I was doing, but it's all about the point of power is in the present moment. So it's just like in my mind thinking you're not here in this moment, and you come back and you just keep coming back and back and back. Each time you come back, you put a gap into the thought stream. The more gaps, the more inner peace. And then when you're in a place of inner peace, that's the true energy of transformation. Because when you're in peace, you're aligned within this perfect spirit within you, that all of us are perfect spirit. We simply get lost in our identity, our stories, male, female, our age, our family, all these stories, our job, our diseases, whatever it is. There's an identification there that isn't your truth. This identification is mind busyness. And I really like this one teacher over in Ireland, if I can think of her name here. I've been here numerous times. Jack O'Keefe, yeah, Jack O'Keefe. She usually says whenever she gives a talk, or when she talks frequently, like she plays a character called Jack. We're constantly playing these characters that don't serve us. So we need to let go of the character and realize that we are perfect spirit and that we are doing our very best. So we let go of all this judgment, all this criticism, all this busyness of mind that isn't serving us, and just being here in this moment. Hey, Kathy, thanks for joining. So a few people are watching, wasn't really sure. I just know it was time to give a little talk that, you know, healing happens from peace. But a lot of people say, I can't have peace until I heal. Well, this stress, this anxiety about not being healed blocks healing. So it's the paradox. So I'm curious here. I do have a deck out. So let's just take what does Spirit have to say about all this healing talk that we're talking about here? So what's Spirit have to say about this? Um, we're getting the committed card. Very powerful card here. So this is nothing can interfere with my commitment to my life. So in other words, you are life itself. Are you committed to knowing who you truly are? Are you too attached to your story to really know who you are? And I know when I was dealing with MS, I was completely attached to my story. It was nice not having responsibilities, didn't have to do any cleaning, didn't have to do anything, didn't even have to open doors. People would see me with the cane, the walker, whatever it is. People would open the doors. There would be no responsibility. It's really hard to give up that story. It's like, no, I want to do this on my own. I want to live a normal life. So we need to commit to that. Hey, Sharon. Yeah, if you need some healing, Wednesday night, Arc of the Golden Light. It's in the comments here, this description here. And it's really going to be an interesting night. My teaching has been getting deeper and deeper as I'm reading the Course in Miracles. I had this book for 5 years, never felt the call to read it, but I'm finally reading it. It's confirming some things that allow me to go deeper. And then when I read about the arc of the golden light, it's like, that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm experiencing. So basically, in this healing, I'm not mentally scripting this out. I'm just getting myself offline and allow spirit to work through me. I guess that's the best way I can describe it. So, Sharon, if you need healing, I'm just protecting the peace. Yeah, we need to protect our peace. What is right for us? What is true for us? So, just feeling called for Sharon here. Just a quick card on what spirit has to say on your healing is. Oh, look at this, Sharon. You're getting the divine card. That's the key to healing, to realize that we are a divine being. But this mind has this place of separation, that your heart knows you're divine, your mind thinks you're separate, you're isolated from everyone. The healing happens when you know yourself as perfect spirit, as the divine, not separated from all anything. Because once you get that mind offline and tap into your divinity, healing happens. And we're going to do that Wednesday, get that mind offline and restore the energetic body. So that's the goal, is to restore the energetic body, because this body, this physical body, is very dense, very heavy, and the body does what the body does. But if we really restore the inner body, this light reflects out to the outer body, and everything. There's a synchronicity happens. There's miracles happen in that space. It's really, really magical. So I'm here if there's any questions. This is a free flowing conversation, nothing scripted. I never script out my talks. I just go for it, if you will. Because once again, if we're scripting out our talks, that's the mind with an agenda. And there's no agenda here. It's just whatever. So I'm here for you. There's about 7 people watching, I think, yeah, right now, or 8. There's some number here. So any questions, any comments? Come to the event, see, experience it. Doesn't cost you anything. If you want to give a donation, that's wonderful. Because eventually, I would love to just be in this space all day and just creating miracles. Hey, Lynn Wolf, I see a comment there. I don't understand it. Rebecca, what does Spirit want to know? What does Rebecca need to know from Spirit? I only have this one deck in front of me. Um, I'm feeling a woman with you, Rebecca. Not really sure who this woman is. Maybe a grandfather, not a grandfather. It's a woman, grandmother, but it doesn't feel like immediately close, a little distant. Not sure what that is. So maybe she'll come through here with the message. Let's take a look. Um, Youthful. Great card for Rebecca. It's a great reminder to stay youthful, to stay light in spirit, not allowing the mind to be in all this heaviness, to really weigh you down, to laugh, to smile, to enjoy life, to embrace life. Like a toddler, they think they can do all things. They just want to play, have fun. They're not trying to figure things out. They're just playing. They're just reminding from spirit just to play, to have fun. Oh, okay, that's interesting, Mel. Oh, hey, Jane, thanks for watching here. Who else is here that snuck in here? Okay, Kathy, let's take well, I see Kathy there. I saw Mel. Let me do Kathy first, 'cause I think that's the easier one than Mel. Then we'll take a look at these. So Kathy, country is about to erupt tomorrow. Can you pull a card on this? All right, let's see what Spirit has to say there. Let's take a look. Um, okay, strong card. Strong is reminding us that all of our power, all of our strength is within us. What makes us weak is when we're in the mind that wants to follow the leader, regardless of what your heart is saying, like what resonates with you and following your truth. Then, if, as a society, if everyone stayed strong and in their own light, then the people at the very top, it takes away all their power, because you can say the people that are strong are defiant. It's like, no, this is not our truth. This is not our way. So it's really a reminder to stay strong in spirit, not getting lost in the stories. So Mel was asking what's blocking her healing, where she needs to focus. Hey, Casey, good to see you. Yes, Kathy, I would say that if they're strong and determined, loving and peaceful, that means they're tapped into their heart. If they're not into violence, operating from the mind, that's when the strongest force is conscious, awake people. They are the strongest force in the universe because they are united with the universe. So Mel, let's see. I just pulled a card here for Mel. Let's take a look here. Okay, Melly reminds you that you're tough, that obstacles have no power over you. So so you're asking what you need to focus on is perceived obstacles. Notice saying perceived obstacles. What's the mind, what's the mental story on these situations that you're facing? And why is that the truth? That's the question you need to ask yourself. Why do I take this situation I'm facing as my truth? Like for me, multiple sclerosis, not walking. Why does this have to be my permanent reality? Why is this the truth? It obviously wasn't, because The mind is in relative truth, not the absolute truth of spirit. And spirit knows that all things are possible. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, Kathy, yeah, just about staying strong and just be persistent and determined, and things will work out perfectly. Let's see. So, anybody else here with a question? I don't usually do random card pulls. I usually, with this deck specifically, is about questions. So, yes, why is this the truth? Remember that mind is relative truth. The spirit was with it. Yeah, yeah, Rebecca, medication is okay to build a foundation until you tap into your own strength. Um, so that's why I see, like in my case, when I was weaning off medication, it was still there while I was building my foundation. And I weaned myself off of it in about a year. And I was taking the 13 daily medications, a daily injectable. Over a course of a year, I weaned myself off of that. But as I was weaning off, I was building a foundation. So that's where medication is helpful. Thinking medication is the answer will keep you stuck with that, because you're not listening to yourself. You're not trusting yourself. And that's a huge leap of faith for people, is to really trust and have faith in their divinity, their perfect spirit. But we're always taught to doubt ourselves, not to trust ourselves. Constant fear mongering to take us out of our own power, our own light. Henrique, I'm not sure I understand. How can I get a feeling? I'm not sure what you mean by there. So Kelly's asking, am I in the right direction? Let's take a look here. I just pulled this card here. It was sort of jumped out here for oh, there's a great card here for Kelly. I mean, I had to pause here and think about this one though. It's edgy. Edgy's drawing outside the lines, stepping outside the box, being on the fringe, being out there. So if your direction is creating people to raise their eyebrows, like what is she doing? Creating concern, then you're probably going the right direction, because you're supposed to be like out of the box thinking, pushing the edge of comfort. All right, let's see. Oh, so Henrique, yeah, I'm having an event next Wednesday night. It's the Arc of the Golden Light, and that's going to be an extremely powerful event. My first event as I'm deepening with my own practice with the Course in Miracles. It's going to be an extremely powerful night. I don't script this out. I have no clue what's going to happen, but I just trust that the energy feels really, really strong for that night. So Casey, all right, Casey Marie, I feel so indecisive about what I truly want in some areas of my life. All right, let's take a look here for Casey. Let's take a look here. What's going on? And that's the common battle we all face, Casey. I'm going to bring this up because it's a really good comment. I think we need to really focus so much self-consciousness and fear at times. It's that judgment, that criticism. But this is where the battle is, if you will. There is a battle. The mind and fear, and the heart, the spirit knowing all is well. So we're trying to find our way between the fear and our heart. And it's just a matter of slowing it down. What is my truth? The absolute truth. Let me do something here real quick. Let me bring this back up. Okay, let's see. So Casey, I have a card out here for you. Casey, look at this, the blessed card. Nothing can take away my blessings. So it's just reminding you that fear, self-consciousness has no power over you. It's only when you give it attention that it has power over you. So when you see that come up, notice if you're sitting, standing, do what you can to get yourself into the present moment. Grab an ice cube from the freezer, something to get you into body, into your sensation, so you can really snap yourself out of that thought stream. And remember, every time we snap ourselves out of the thought stream, we're putting a gap into the thought stream. The more gaps, the more peace. So that might be your practice. Running your hands in the cold water. For me, it was like, where are my feet? Constantly reminding myself, where are my feet? Hard, soft surface, wearing socks, shoes, whatever it may be, and engaging that. Ah, yeah, Rebecca, that's actually great. I love this. I look up to the moon and stars sometimes to calm me. Do you think this means anything? Absolutely, Rebecca. This is a big message from your soul, reminding you that the energy of the stars, the moon, the universe is the same energy within you, that there's absolutely no separation. You're always connected to the moon, the stars, and the quantum field. You're all interconnected. So when you look up to the stars, the moon, it's a reminder, I am this energy. And when you know yourself that energy, peace descends. Yeah, beating yourself up will keep you stuck. It's really not good there, Casey. When will people start to rise above the fear? That's a good question, Jane. Um, let's see what Spirit has to say. Now. I'm at a loss. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Okay, let's see. Hmm. Um, you probably can't see the writing. It's like authentic. When they can be truly themselves, then that's when they'll move above the fear. But how many people do you know that can actually be authentic? Everybody puts on this mask. I'm meeting this person. I got to put on this disguise. I'm meeting this person. I got to put on this disguise. They're afraid to be themselves. And when they stop being afraid to be themselves, their authentic, vulnerable selves, until then, fear will have control of them. This is why people have that tremendous fear of public speaking. What will people think of me? They're afraid to be authentic. All right, so we've got some people here. If there's any other questions, but we got to remember healing, life itself is very, very simple. The mind adds complexity to it. So if you're facing a situation you don't know how to deal with, just remember, give it to spirit. Basically means get yourself present where your feet, where you're sitting, what do you hear? Get yourself best into this moment. Ask yourself this question, what you're facing in the situation. How do I move through this, or whatever it may be, that question for you, and just sit with it, and just see what arises. What's that initial impulse, that instinct to do this, do that, with no story, no explanation. If there's a story explanation behind it, that's coming from the mind. Spirit, the true spiritual voice, speaks in 2, 3, maybe 4 words. Do this, do that. And it's very simple. We can act from this place. But when spirit says, do this, the mind will usually protest. And I can give a good story about that. You know, when I was dealing with MS, and I heard that I knew myself as perfect spirit, one day I just heard do yoga. My mind started to complain, like, your balance is terrible. You can never do yoga. You can barely walk. But anyway, I did yoga. 6 months later, no cane. So you got to trust that voice. All right, so Kathy's asking about Kevin. Let's take a look. Let's see, Kevin. Here's a card for Kevin. Let's see for Kevin. Wow, I shuffled the deck. Authentic. So what I'm seeing in the card with Kevin and authentic, where's he not being true to himself? because this not being true to himself is blocking his prosperity, his abundance. He's trying to fit into someone's mold and not trying to carve his own path. When we carve our own path, that's the beauty of life. Yeah, Casey, do yoga. Just do yoga. Beware that mind creating all these stories. Yoga, 6 months of yoga, no more cane. It works. And find that yoga style for you. Some classes you might not like, others you may find more enjoyable. Like I like to do yin yoga. Yin yoga was very good for me. It's a lot of holding poses, stretching the muscles out. And then I would do some vinyasa in there as well. Yeah, that's great, Jane. Yeah, absolutely. Just be present, be kind. Let go of the judgment, the criticism of anyone. It's really about accepting this moment as it is without protest. The mind's constantly in attack mode. Oh, that this isn't right. That keeps you stuck in place. Yeah, so if you like holding poses, then I say yin yoga. Do yin yoga. And maybe mix in some other styles once in a while to keep a little bit of balance. But I would sometimes just do weeks of yin yoga, and that's fine. Oh, hey, Rayanne. Let's take a look here, Rebecca. How do you beat feelings of being weak and tired? How do we change that in ourselves? Well, if you're weak and tired, don't don't give that energy, if you will. I'm weak. I'm tired. You're giving it fuel. It's just notice. Oh, the body's tired. Let me go rest. If you're unable to rest, then this is one of the questions you have to ask yourself in spirit. Be quiet. Ask yourself, how do I recharge my energy? Just sit with it. See what arises for you. I have no idea. That's something you need to answer. Yeah, I'm doing well. Like I said, I had that COVID and it wasn't a big deal. During that time, I slept a lot because I didn't want any mental interference to cause with that. And I just had insights to drink lots of water, lots of rest, lots of sleep. Didn't give it any energy of worry, anxiety, stress, and it didn't have any power. So it's really this simple. We make it so complex. So I had one shot. I just had one shot, but it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. It's all a story, and that story has power. If you're unvaccinated, it doesn't mean you're prone to get COVID really bad. Your belief system will dictate. That's what we have to realize. The power of the mind has the power to dictate reality. So it doesn't matter if you're vaccinated or unvaccinated. I just had to play the New York City game. That if I want to stay in the city and live a somewhat normal life, you can't really live in this city being unvaccinated. You can't get into the gyms. You can't get into restaurants. It's just really impossible situation here. And I looked at New Hampshire, but you know, it's a lot to move to another state. A lot of funds, resources are needed. And the easiest, and I sat with that for a long time, well, what will happen with one shot? And for me, it felt there would be no long term damage. But unfortunately, for some, there is long term damage, even after one shot. But for some, there's no impact. So it's really about, your belief system, your body chemistry of how you react, but it wasn't really But there's the mind loves its stories. Its story that it has a story about this, a story about that, a story about this. And we just have to let all that go and realize that's not the absolute truth. The real truth is that I'm perfect spirit. And this is my current human experience. It's not my permanent reality. I know someday this body's going to drop away, but my energy will remain. It will probably transform into something else and somewhere else. We're not confined to Earth. There's many intelligent planets out there. So we're definitely not alone. Yes, we need choices. Mandates dictating that you must do this, you must do that. It's all nonsense. What resonates for you? What's your truth? Follow and trust yourself. Your spirit's not going to lead you astray. The mind's constantly ramming you into ditches, trying to drown you, keep you stuck in pain, suffering, all that nonsense. So I know there's a question up here. I got distracted from Jane on PETA. Let's take a look here for let's take a look here for PETA. Let me tune in. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, let's see what's going on for PETA. Oh, well, safe. Safe is really about following our own truth and letting go of the judgment, the criticism, beating yourself up. It's safe to trust you. That's what PETA and everybody has to realize that it's safe to trust our wisdom. However, trying to discern mind voice versus spirit voice is a practice. The practice being spirit, 2, 3 words, no stories, no explanations, no excuses, no nothing. Do this, do that. Very simple, straightforward. Mind, drink water to keep yourself hydrated. When I was dealing with COVID, rest, drink water, sleep. Very simple. Oh, thanks, Rebecca. Yeah, I really want everybody to know themselves as perfect spirit, that I am no one special. I simply learned to remember who I was, and we're all perfect spirit, soul, consciousness, whatever you wish to call it. We are not our thoughts, we are not our stories. We're all divine. We're all here for a purpose, a reason to help ourselves to grow, to expand. All right, Jane, you're welcome. Let's see if there's any other questions here. I have a little more time. It's been fun to do this. I haven't given one of these free-flowing conversations in a while. But that's the thing, though. I'm authentic. This is my story. I lived in pain for 37 years. I had all these diseases, all these ailments, because I was completely identified with my story. And even Dr. Gabor Mate, when I spoke to him, if people don't know what he is, you can look up Dr. Gabor Mate, Mate. Um, yeah, I explained my story to him, healing to him. He asked me some questions, but basically he said, "Oh, you stop believing your mind." It was really that simple. You stop believing your mind. How do you know what your purpose is? Rebecca is asking. That's the question everyone asks. What's their purpose? The first purpose is to remember who you are. Without knowing who you are, you're following the mental story, the mental script. Because could you possibly know what your purpose is if you don't even really realize who you are? That I'm perfect spirit. What did I come here to learn? For me, now I was a very slow learner, you could say, but I've had flashes of this. You get flashes of your past human experiences. That's that's a whole another story, but basically I saw my purpose for coming to Earth for the last several hundred years was to heal myself with no outside help. That was my primary mission, you could say, was go to Earth and learn how to take care of you, heal yourself with no outside help. So that was my primary mission, if you will. But so now, okay, I accomplished that, you could say. So the mission now is to help people heal themselves. So now I jumpstart that with the Arc of the Golden Light and these healing circles I do once a month, and then on the occasional private sessions. Yes, Rebecca, you are a queen. You are the ruler of your life. Love yourself. Just love yourself, saying, I'm queen. I'm the ruler of my life. I'm the boss of me. That is perfect. And it's not selfish either. We have to make ourselves a priority so we can better take care of others. So we have the strength, the energy to take care of others. It's not selfish. By taking time out to learn who I was, now I can help others. But if I was still dealing with MS and everything else, I couldn't help anyone else. All right, there's still some people here watching, lots of people actually. So, what else do we want to talk about? What's on your mind? What's going on? We got a big snowstorm coming tomorrow in New York City. That should be fun. Um, let's see. I've dealt with all these things, and but they weren't. No, I wouldn't say anything of them were bad, because there are no bad experiences. They're only bad experiences if you don't learn from them. But every experience is here to help us remember who we are. I was getting sicker and sicker and sicker until I knew myself. Like my MS, if people know about multiple sclerosis, I was going from relapsing, remitting, means you have good days, bad days, it's relapsing, remitting, into secondary progressive. Secondary progressive is a continuous slow decline. And I stopped that and I got my health back. Yeah, it's coming to New York as a snowstorm. Lots of snow tomorrow, apparently. So we will see. Rebecca, I think you should come to New York. Bring the whole family. We'll have fun. The kids will love it here. Lots of things to explore. Let's see. Henrika, uh, I'm having negative dreams between my deceased mother and me. Can't figure out why. Negative dreams between your deceased mother and yourself. Hmm, interesting. I'm just trying to tune in, Henrika. I'm just trying to tune in because let me see what's going on. I don't know, Henrika. The best description I can feel it doesn't feel like your mother's trying to communicate with you in a dream, if you will. The best I can feel feels like best I can describe it feels like a trickster just messing with you in your dream state. That's what I'm feeling, and I'm trying to figure out why that is. What's stirring that up? But it doesn't feel like your mother. That's the energy because typically, when spirits on the other side, there's no grievances, there's no grudges. There's just an unconditional love, lots of support. So let's ask your real mother to come through and all your past loved ones to chase away that trickster, to try to create some friction, if you will. Why are they trying to create any friction in your life that doesn't need to be there? And we're clearing up that area as well, that negativity that's hanging around for whatever reason. Just washing it away, wrapping you in this golden arc of light in your space, your living space, clearing all this out, asking your real mother and past relatives to come through to balance the energy, to give you genuine messages from the heart without friction, without tension, just love. Yes, Rebecca, you're a queen. Act like a queen. Get yourself a crown, a tiara, and be the queen. You don't need to make it any more complicated like that. I'm the queen. I'm the ruler of my life. There's no judgment. There's no criticism. I accept me as myself. I'm the ruler. I'm the queen. It's it's simple. But that's the thing too. People get really hung up on this death concept. So, she's talking about her husband's, grandmother died. But to remember, we don't die. We continue. We transform. We drop the body. The spirit continues. Just dropping the body. That's all it is. But that's sometimes hard to acknowledge because there's still sadness, there's still grief there because you can't talk to this person, you can't hug this person, you can't interact anymore. So there's some grief there, and it's normal, it's accepted. But we have to see that, that their spirit, their light continues on in some way. All right, seeing some people here. If there's any questions or you just like hearing me ramble on, that's okay too. It's really an interesting, diverse conversation, that's for sure. Um, And then, what just reminds me of a spiritual teacher, Francis Lucille. He doesn't give any talks. He just rambles like I'm rambling. He'll answer questions. He'll just meander on. Yeah. All right. So we remember that the true energy of transformation is peace. It's not busyness from the mind. It's relaxing, being here, where your feet, realize you're sitting. The truth is within you. The mind lives in relative truth because it's based on perception. What is true for you is false for another, so it cannot be absolute truth. Absolute truth never changes. That's the perfect spirit within you. It's the constant, it's the only thing that's permanent, is your energy, the consciousness, the soul, the spirit, whatever you wish to call it. That's the truth. All else is a story. The mind loves story. The mind loves attack mode. The mind wants to be right. Nonsense. There's no right and wrong or the same side of the same coin. It's all a matter of perspective. It's all relative truth. What people consider facts or disproven, people that they consider that this is the truth and it gets disproved. It's just busyness. All right. So am I seeing any questions? Almost 45 minutes here. I wasn't expecting to go this long till this today, but it's all good. Thanks for the engaging conversation here, going off into different areas I wasn't planning to go off into. Well, I don't really plan these out anyway. I just figured what to say. Let's talk about healing, the simplicity of healing. That was the intent today. That healing is simple. Do this, do that. Let go of the stories, and anything can be healed. Just like I say in the Course of Miracles, there's no difficulties. There's no degrees of difficulties of miracles. One miracle is not harder to create than another miracle. All healing is essentially the same. Be at peace. When you're at peace, act from your heart. Do those steps that are coming to you. Do this, do that. Notice how the mind will doubt that wisdom. Push forward anyway. That's all good, Rebecca. Someday we'll meet. I have cousins over in England. I should get there someday. Or you come to New York and we'll show you around. Well, for as long as I live in New York. It depends if they try any more crazy rules, restrictions, mandates. But I just can't move on a drop of a dime. But if they keep up the nonsense, I will have to go. Yep. Yeah. Mm. All right. I still see some people here. Any more questions? Any more comments? Anything that's curiosity for you that you don't understand? Of course, you know that you know, but maybe you don't have that clarity because the mind's creating confusion. Lots of confusion. That's the mind. When you're confused, you know you're in the mind. If you have clarity and certainty, good chance you're operating from the heart, but it's more like a humble confidence. That's the differences. There's a humble confidence. Like I know what I need to do, but I don't need to like go rah rah rah. You're not going to see me like doing a Tony Robbins type thing. Um, all right, like I said, this is meandering all over the place. If there's any questions, let me know. I'm going to wrap up here in a minute. We're over 45 minutes now. It's a lot more than I was expecting, but it's all good. We're all beautiful. We're all perfect spirit. We are not our stories. We are not this mental garbage, this head trash. We need to throw all this stuff out and really march to our own drummer, get ourselves strong and confident in knowing who we are, then we can better serve and help the world. Otherwise, if you're lost in the head trash, you're just going to be adding more head trash into the world, more stories, more friction, more fear, more just nonsense. All right, not seeing any more comments here, so I guess I'll just wrap it down and talk to everyone soon. Take good care of yourself, and hopefully I'll see you Wednesday night. You can see the link I posted there for the event. It's a donation event. I wish I had enough donations where I can just be in the healing space all day and create miracles. Kind of like a John of God, but not John of God because he's just got lost too much in his mind stuff. All right, I'm heading off. Take good care of yourself. Lots of love, lots of blessings to you. Remember, you are perfect spirit. You're beautiful just as you sit here watching this. Let go of any judgment, any criticism. Realize you're perfect. Be well.